Hey, how's it going? And today I'm just doing a tutorial on what a struct is in Unreal Engine 5.1, and this is actually part of a much larger project that I'm working on, but I'm just addressing components of it, and ultimately you'll see how this all ties together in the end. So to do this, we're just going to go in Games, Blank, and go Create. I'll try to go as fast as I can on this. It shouldn't take too long, but I feel like it's important to show how these things work, so then when I put it all together it'll make a lot more sense. So anyway, to do this, I'm just going to go on to right click here, and we're going to go to widget blueprint, and we're going to create user widget. Doesn't matter what it's named, and I'm just going to get a canvas panel, and these are just for organizing things. And then I'm going to get a button like that and just drag that onto the canvas panel. And then I'm just going to get some text and drag that onto the button. From on the button, I can click size to content. I can also center this and zero these out here. So, and these I need to make them 0.5, 0.5. So we just have a button in the center of the screen, and the button's just going to say something like click me, and that's it. So now I'm going to click on the button, and then we're going to go to on clicked. So this is going to trigger the whole thing. Now to create a structure, a struct is really, it's just a way of organizing many variables into a group. So it's an organizational thing. You can think of it as a way of organizing variables. So if we right click, it's actually located under blueprints. So there it is right there. And we're just going to leave it called new user defined struct. And we click on it. There's not much to it in here. And I'm just going to create two variables. The first one, I'm just going to call it counter. And we're just going to set it as an integer. I sent it as an integer, and then we can add another variable. And just so you can see that there's multiple variables we can have, that's the only reason I'm doing this. I'll just call it counter2, and I'll leave it as that. So we just save it, and we're done. I can go back into my widget blueprint here. Now if I'm looking for it, how I would find it is under variable, and if I search, I believe, let's see, variable, I'll just call this my struct, and then for the variable type I can search for it, and it should be new. Let's see, variable type is in here. So what was it called? New, here it is right here, new user defined struct. And I can compile and save, and now you'll see it over here, and then I have the option to get it or to set it. So I'm just going to drag and go get. Now when I do, if you'll notice here under, you'll notice I have the options to set the default values here, and so I'm just having them set at 0. Also on the struct itself, on here you can set the default values here as well. So that's where you can set its default values. And then what we're going to do is, what's interesting about the struct is that you can almost call it make or break it. So what we can do is, you can think of make or break it. So what we have to do to access these variables is to break it apart. So we're going to search for, it comes in right there, break. And you see right here now that I have the two variables that I placed into it. But if I come over here, I can just click, only can select whichever ones I need. So if I had 30 variables, I could just have 2 or 3 or all of them together. So this is one way I can make the interface a lot cleaner. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a counter here. So I'm just going to go add, and so I'm just going to make a button that where every time I click it, it's going to increment by 1. So I'm just going to put one here, And then dragging off of my struct, I am going to search for set members in defined strut. And here it is here. And now if I click on this, you'll notice I don't see anything, any inputs here. So I have to come over here and enable the pin. And now I can plug this in as counter. And if I wanted to add this one, I can add that one. See how it adds like that. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug this into here. And now that I'm basically, the value is going to come in as a 0. It's going to get increased by 1 every time I click the button. And now I want to print it out. So what I have to do here is I have to break it apart again. So I have to come here and go break. And again, I don't want this counter 2 on there, so I just click this and it comes off. And then all I have to do here is I'm going to drag off here and go, this is just going to print a string, so I'll go print string. And then this will auto convert the data type once I plug it in. So that's basically our function. So we created a struct with 2 variables in it. We only want 1. And every time I click the button, you'll see it increment by 1. So the only thing I have to do is make this display. So I'm just going to come in here and go to level blueprint, and just real quickly on event begin play, we're just going to go create widget, and I'll set it to my display, which is that one, new widget blueprint, and then we're just going to add it to the viewport. This is so we can see the button. Add to viewport, and then I'll just hook this in right here. And then I'll hit compile and save. I guess I can save it all like that. Come in here, and if I hit play, you'll see the on click button there. Now if I hit click me, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's incrementing by 1 every time I click the button. So that's basically a struct. If you think about it, it's just a way of organizing many variables together, and then you have to break it apart to get to each variable, and then you got to kind of reset it to compile it and then break it apart again, as we've kind of shown here with our logic here. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.